Have you ever watched a video or been told that IULs are bad? Well, if you have, this video is for you. So IULs have come into a space where they're essentially helping people create a new stream of income in retirement by using the cash value component of these life insurance plans so that you can grow money tax-free, take it out tax-free without any risk by using a strategy called indexing. The reason we're even needing to supplement retirement is because retirement has changed drastically, but no one really made an announcement. Now we see a lot of the baby boomers struggling to retire or struggling to stay retired. Retirement used to be three legs: pensions, Social Security, and what you grew and invested on your own. Unfortunately, companies started ditching pensions in the 1980s and offering what we know to this day as retirement savings plans, aka the 401k, 403b, 401a, 457 plans, because it gives them a tax write-off when they match you instead of paying out money for pensions to ensure that you get to retire and stay retired. So again, this happened in the 80s. No one made an announcement, and retirement changed drastically because of that. Also, Social Security is on life support. So if you haven't been following that, let me fill you in. Social Security was created back in the 1930s where the ratios actually made sense. Everything worked out. They were able to build up a surplus over time. But the generation that came after the generation when it started were over twice the size of the original generation and lived a lot longer. So you can only imagine when Social Security was created, there weren't as many people on it. And when they finally did cut the income on, life expectancy made sure that they weren't on it for very long. Now you have people on Social Security for decades, whereas before it was just a couple years. Of course, that's going to put stress on something like that. And over time, that reserve is going to go away. And that's what's happening. Now, of course, other things have tapped into this reserve as well, but it was already going to dry up because the math just wasn't mathing. You started out with 42 workers putting into the Social Security pot back when it was created. Now it's more like 1.8 workers to one person taking out. So that ratio has changed drastically, okay? So I just explained that companies took on retirement savings plans and started making pensions disappear because it made them more money to do that. Also, Social Security, you see, is dwindling. Those checks are actually not as big as people thought they were going to be. And so now that's not enough income. And if you think about it, the younger generation X, starting then and then so on, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're probably not going to see Social Security show up like it did for the other generations, if it's even still around. So what do you do when all the different ways that people depend upon for retirement are dried up or no longer there? You start to create your own. And that's what people started doing with a lot of different things and financial tools, and Index Universal Life was one of them. Now, with any financial product, you're going to have things that are benefits, and you're going to have some things that are maybe a little bit of a drawback, okay? That's just how everything works. Nothing is 100% all for you or always going to work out exactly how you want it to, unless you put your money in a fixed savings account and you can directly calculate how long it's going to take that money to double. Typically in fixed accounts, you're not going to get a fixed rate that's so high that'll make the money double in less than 18 years. So now that we're having to make up more streams of income for retirement because a lot of the older streams are not going to be able to support us, people are starting to look for accounts that maybe can grow faster, right? So the higher interest rates are going to make sure your money grows faster so that by the time you get to retirement, you actually have something in there. Also, they're looking for ways they can get guarantees in certain things. And they're just looking to see if they can get the benefits of something that will give them a higher return, but safely so that they're not losing money. Insert Index Universal Life cash value. So the example I'd like to use is, let's say that someone has a broom, and I'm basically explaining why people demonize or might say IULs are bad. Let's say I have a broom and I take that broom and I clock you upside the head with it. You're going to turn around and call me a bad person and say that that broom hurt you. Now, of course, I'm holding the broom, but you're looking at the broom as a weapon, and I use that to slap you upside your head. Now, first, ask yourself, did I use the broom how I should have used the broom? No. Brooms were made for sweeping floors, okay? Not clocking people upside the head and giving them concussions. So one thing is I used the broom inappropriately, but also too, it really wasn't the broom's fault. It was the person who took the broom in their hand and hit you upside the head. So instead of blaming the broom, maybe you should blame the person who decided to pick the broom up and hit you. So let's correlate that to Index Universal Life cash value. Now, like I said at the beginning, you'll see some people trash it, say it's horrible. But one of the main reasons I find that people trash this very amazing tool, honestly, I own many of these and I have used them as such, is because they were not structured properly, meaning that they were not used as they were to be intended to be used, and honestly cause more harm than good for the person that was trying to use it for a specific reason. Okay, so like I said, properly structured Index Universal Life policies will not leave anyone feeling like they've been duped or confused about what they have that product for, because they're going to actually do what they were set out to do, which is grow money and create a side stream of income for retirement. So given that the main reason for using Index Universal Life is to grow money in the cash value, because you get to grow it index, meaning you're getting the gains of the market without the loss. You're getting to grow that money tax-free and use it tax-free, as well as loans if you want to do it that way. So as you're building your cash value, you can borrow against yourself. You can buy cars, down payments on homes, all kind of things, and you do not have to ask anybody's permission to do so. So I just listed just a few benefits of having Index Universal Life cash value, but I want to really break down to you in the most simplest way how you can spot a properly structured IUL versus an IUL that is not structured properly, i.e. someone taking the broom instead of sweeping the floor and hitting you upside the head. But let's pretend this is my IUL, all right? And you can see here I have, this is my hair tie. I have a hair tie right here that's pink at the lower portion of this water bottle. And then I have like a gold tie right here somewhere, not in the middle, but close to the middle. I'd say the top third, okay? So this is an IUL, and I'm gonna show you exactly what it means to have a properly structured IUL. Now I have kombucha here to help me, but before I start pouring any of this into the bottle, I wanna explain what each of these lines mean. This pink one down here is going to be my cost of insurance. So with each IUL comes a life insurance plan that you must purchase in order to access or have access to put money into the cash value account. Again, the cash value account comes with several different benefits, right? I said you can grow money tax-free, you can take it out tax-free, you can loan money to yourself, you're growing it index, meaning you're getting the great parts of the market without the bad parts, which is the loss. Okay, so like I said, just several reasons why IUL cash value would really be a great supplement to retirement income. But in order to get into the club, you got to pay to get into the club, right? You can't just walk in. They usually charge a fee. So that would be your cost of insurance. But also too, don't look at it as a fee, because life insurance is awesome. Most people are actually underinsured or think that their work life insurance is enough. And because IULs come with life insurance, that's another way to also tack on more life insurance so that you can pass that down to the next generation, or you can use life insurance while you're alive for living benefits, so you can file claims for critical, chronic, terminal illnesses and actually receive money from the life insurance while you're alive so that you can use it. Okay, but outside of the benefits of having life insurance, which you should never frown upon, let's talk about the cash value. Now, this pink line says, hey, this is going to be the cost